change your needle. By changing your needle, you're going to check and possibly correct a lot of things. If the needle's bent, you might not be able to see that it's bent. It might just be a little bit. A new needle's going to take care of that. Make sure you have the right needle. You might need to refer to your manual. I've had sewing machines that it was written right on the front of it. So right here, I've got 3 different needle systems. I chose 3 that have obvious length differences. If you don't put the right needle system in your machine, it's just not going to work. Not only does the needle need to be the right needle system, but it needs to be the right size for what kind of thread you're using. All right, now I've got 3 needles. These are all the same needle system, but they are 3 different sizes. Once you know that you got the right system, you need to get the right size. And the right size depends on which thread you're going to use. Here's an 18, a 20, and a 24. So this 18 can handle Tex 69 thread, this 20 can handle the Tex 105, and this 24 can handle Tex 210. If your needle is not big enough for the thread that you have, that thread's going to drag through there. That's going to be bad for your thread, and it's going to be bad for the formation of the stitch. Look down in the description. I'll have a link where they have made a chart and it shows the appropriate needle to thread size. If the needle is not seated correctly, so once you got the right needle, you want to insert that into the needle bar, and you want the needle to go all the way up into the needle bar as far as it'll go. Right here in this window, you can see when the needle moves up there. That is fully seated. So you wouldn't want to tighten this needle down if it weren't fully seated. In effect, you would make the needle too long, and it's going to throw the timing of the machine out. A needle has 2 sides. There's this groove, and then there is the scarf. When the sewing machine sews, the hook passes right by this scarf. The needle is scarfed out a little bit, and that allows the hook to come by there. There'll be a little loop in the thread. That just allows that hook to pass a little closer to the eye of the needle. So that's why the scarf needs to go towards the hook. That's what the function of the scarf is. It's for the hook to be able to pass by very closely. That hook passes the needle. You can kind of see that it's just over the eye a little bit in the scarf. And that's where it picks the thread off the needle. Now as the needle plunges, you can see that thread is tight against the needle. But then after it reaches the bottom and begins to come back up, it allows a loop to be formed just before that hook gets there. It makes that loop, and that hook can then grab it. This needle can be rotated 360 degrees, so you have to make sure that you orient the needle correctly. So right now this is the scarf, and on this machine that scarf needs to be towards the hook or the inside of the machine. Now this needle has the groove on the outside and the scarf is on the inside. So this is the way I want it, and it's fully seated, so I can tighten it down now. If you like my video, give it a thumbs up. It helps a lot. Once you get your new needle in there, when you go to run the thread in that needle, you need to make sure that the thread is going through the needle in the correct direction. You'll always go from the side with the groove towards the side with the scarf. You always thread a needle towards the hook, so it'll go through like that. Under here, the hook passes the needle very closely, and you want that hook to pass the needle on the scarf side of the needle. So that scarf needs to be towards the hook, and that can vary based on which machine you have. So if you know which side the hook passes the needle, you'll know which direction to insert the needle with the scarf facing the hook, and then you'll always know which way to thread the needle. Thread the needle towards the hook. So there's quite a few things that happen when you change your needle. And so any one of those things could be throwing your sewing machine off. And so just by changing your needle, you could fix your machine. Thank you, and consider subscribing to my channel. You can support this channel by becoming a patron for as little as $1 per video. There's a link in the description.